In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down how you can pick recession-proof stocks. These are stocks that are going to be companies that will not be or will have very little effect if there is a recession. So for example, there's in a recession less money going around. People are trying to save as much money as possible if they can, or they may be losing their jobs and whatever else. Usually the first thing that crashes is, of course, the housing market sometimes. So what you'll see is big companies, they'll start foreclosing or having issues with money, and they start laying off people, and then the housing market crashes because, of course, the people who just lost their jobs can't afford the houses, and at that point, you know for sure you're in a recession. Technically speaking, 6 months or 2 quarters of negative GDP, negative earnings, really, I should say. There's a few different ways of really reading it, but it's 6 months and we are currently in a recession, even though the US government is saying we are not. So what does this mean? What are some companies that we can purchase that a recession doesn't matter? Well, some people may say, oh, well, grocery stores, Walmart, places like that. And while that can technically work, they will always be stores that people go to. You need food, and Walmart sells food. I guess that's a recession-proof strategy that they have. But things like clothing and other high markup items, they're going to be selling less of, which then means that, of course, they're not going to be making as much money. That doesn't mean that they're going to be closing. That just means that they make less money and their stock is, and their company is then worth less. But what are some companies that could be recession-proof? Number one, in my opinion, is Waste Management. Waste Management, while it's a company that deals with garbage, guess what? Everyone has garbage. There's, in a recession, not like if half the people in the world just randomly disappear, like in a real pandemic. But with waste management, there's always going to be businesses that need to get rid of waste. There is still going to be governments that need to get rid of waste. And there's still people, individuals, that need to get rid of waste. We are a very wasteful society, which means that companies like Waste Management could be a great option. Another fantastic option could be Microsoft. Now, if you're looking at Apple versus Microsoft, there's a couple of different stories there. While everyone needs computers, because we're in a computer society, people may not be going out and saying, wow, I need a computer. I need to go buy that $2,000 computer. No, people are usually going to be saying, I need that $500 clunker until this recession is over, which then means it's Microsoft. Microsoft inherently has cheaper computers, not their brand, but brands like HP. But they inherently sell or have cheaper options than Apple. While you could go to Apple and get a refurbished option, you're only getting a couple $100 off. That's usually not enough. So, in my opinion, Apple versus Microsoft, Microsoft might get a few more sales than Apple. But then there's that whole issue of, I need my device. So, what I mean by that is, of course, Apple has a premium price tag because it's a premium product. I have Apple. I've got my reasons. Everyone has their reasons. But most people's reasons is, I want the brand. The brand is important to people. I can't go from an iPhone to a Samsung, or I can't have a Samsung tablet if I have all Apple, because then it just doesn't match up. I can't AirDrop. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't get my iMessages on my Samsung. So, people are locked into Apple. As soon as you get Apple, and as soon as you start having that ecosystem, I have an iPad in front of me. That's why I got an Apple Pencil. I've got a MacBook. That's what I'm recording my voice to right now. I've got an iPhone because I've had iPhones for years because I couldn't stand Android. There's reasons behind everything. And brand is important. So, in a recession, if you get the big brands, they may have had a little bit of a pullback, but if they're making money, big brands, Apple, not necessarily Tesla. Tesla ain't there yet. They're still selling cars. They need that residual income. which they are starting to get, but they need to still build more of. So, big brands are important. In a recession, a massive brand is, in theory, too big to fail, even though that sentence failed in 2009. But big brands, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, those companies, Walmart, if you get a little bit of a discount, you're going to be doing pretty good. Because in a recession, what happens? The government prints more money. This time it's different. This time is interesting because they've already printed too much money, which is why we're going into a recession. So it's a bit different. Now they have to raise interest rates. And when they raise interest rates, that means that there's less people buying things, buying big purchases, cars, houses, things like that. This could be a very bad recession that we're going into, because usually in a recession they print money to say, please buy. But right now they can't print money. They still do. Inflation's going through the roof, and interest rates are also going through the roof. So this is a very interesting time. Is it time to buy right now? No, I would be saying, like, obviously start trimming back maybe if you've got some winners right now, but at this time, start slowly getting in, but do not go all in. This doesn't look like a time where you can say, man, I'm dropping 100 G's on something. This is not that time. Just go in slowly, because there could be some big drops coming. I don't have any insider information, but this seems interesting. It's a time to slowly get into the market. Personally, I would be buying safe dividend stocks. Companies like Enbridge, which seem to be very interesting right now because they have a 6% dividend, 6 point something percent dividend. Canadian banks, even though they are not a recession-proof strategy, they haven't cut a dividend for over 100 years, the big six. Which means that they are, if you're looking for income, a fantastic option. When you're looking at the Canadian banks as well, you have to understand that they are very heavily tied to mortgages and generally oil prices, because some of them do invest over in the oil fields, and that's why they were kind of taking a tumble quite a few years ago. But they're heavily tied to mortgages, but most mortgages, that if they were risky, had mortgage insurance. It's also very hard to get an A lender, which is a big six bank, if you don't have much income, or if you have not much income because of write-offs. You need to go to a B or C list, in which in that case, you're looking at the big six as being pretty safe. They have a lot of rules and regulations they have to live by. So these are my thoughts. Big brands that you slowly buy into right now, or companies that will exist no matter what. Waste Management, Walmart, that ain't going anywhere. Amazon, that ain't going anywhere. Big companies that have a use no matter what time or year it is. I hope that this video has helped you. If it has, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.